Okay, good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me and also see my screen. So, welcome to another live session. So, in this live session, I'll be clearing any doubts you have. Also, I'll be having a few questions that I'll be discussing, and I'll give you some time to solve it, and then I'll go in depth and discuss the solution to those questions. So, for those who have joined my live session previously, they will know what the format that I follow. Uh, so I have muted everybody, because like I have mentioned previously as well, it creates a lot of uh, multiple people speaking together creates a lot of noise in my ears since I'm also wearing a headphone. So the format that we are going to follow is you guys will ask, you can ask any questions that you want in the chat box, and I'll address those questions. Also, like I already mentioned, I'll have a few questions that I'll be discussing. I'll ask you guys to solve it, and then I'll discuss the solutions in detail. Also, uh, if you have any doubts, we can either uh, address those doubts in the beginning now, or maybe after discussing all the questions that I have to discuss. So I won't be discussing the assignment solutions because I myself have not seen the assignment. I'm not allowed to discuss the assignment solutions. This is the instruction that I've gotten from the NPTEL uh, people. So I'll only discuss some problems which may or may not help you solve the assignment, but it will definitely strengthen your understanding. Solving these questions will definitely strengthen your understanding of the C programming language. Also, I won't be able to answer any questions related to you know the question paper because I'm not involved in that, or any other admin related issues. So you can directly ask those questions in the forum. So let's get started. I missed the last lecture. Complete. Okay, Ajit Rao is saying I missed the last lecture. Complete solution not provided on NPTEL site of last lecture. Which lecture, Ajit? Is it the live session you're talking about, or what? So there are two people who are taking the live sessions. Previous session, huh? Wait a minute. Let me just log into the website, course website. Okay, so Ajit is asking me something. Okay, Neeraj is also asking the same thing. Let me just log into the this thing. So we have had only three live sessions. So these recordings are shared. I have shared the recording. You can access it here. You can also go to the Google Drive and access the PPT. So the recording has been shared. If that is the question. J is less than or equal to I, J plus plus. So first I print 1 and
Okay, so
space.
I think this
Now K plus plus happens. Okay.
PDF format. Let me go and check.
Yeah, I've shared it, Ajit. You can check it here. Week 3 PDF. So whatever was on the PPT, I have shared it. And in case you want to see what is the program itself, you can always look at the video, right? Uh, See, if you go to the video, if you go, you can just pause wherever you want and you can have a look. See, you can just pause the video and then have a look. The solution is here. Okay. So let's get started. Is there no way that we could submit our assignments after due date? Like I said, Shreya, I'm not sure about the assignment and that kind of thing because that's I'm not involved with that. So maybe you can ask it on the forum and see if they'll allow you. But I cannot confirm or deny that. Uh, Kindly ask in the forum. Okay, guys. So let's get started. Uh, so I have this question here for you guys. I've created this question. Okay. Uh, So for those again, I'm just repeating once again. For those who have joined new, you can whatever questions you have, you can ask in the chat box, and I'll answer that. So for now, what you guys can do is you can try and answer this question. So you have to write a program in C to accept a sentence as input from the user. The program should transform all the uppercase letters to lowercase letters and vice versa in the input string and print the transformed string onto the console. So you have to enter the string, and after you have entered the sentence, you have to click enter to terminate. So your program should detect this enter and stop taking in further inputs. Okay. So for example, here my name is Anurag Gupta. This is the string I've entered. The transform string is, you can see this is the transform string. So all lowercase letters are transformed to uppercase, and all uppercase letters are transformed to lowercase. Let me just run this program once and show you. Okay, so you can see here how what is the output. Okay, so you guys can take around 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, and try and answer this question. Okay, then I'll discuss the solution. So please take 10 to 12 minutes, and I'm also available here. If you have any doubts, I'll try and answer that. So it's 6:15 now. Let us meet in 12 minutes. Okay, and once you are done with this, if anybody has successfully solved this, uh, I might ask you to share your screen and show me the output. So it doesn't matter if you are if you're not able to solve it. The important thing is you need to attempt. So even if you're not able to get the complete solution, at least attempt it, and no problem. Even if you don't get the output, we'll discuss the solution. That is why I'm here. Okay. Okay. Then I'll if you have any doubts, I'm here. Till then, until then, we'll meet at 6:18. Okay. So, how many of you guys have been able to solve it or at least attempt it? Shreya has, Shreya, Vikas have raised their hands. Good. What about the others? Ajit, what about you? And who else is there? Okay, Ajit has done it. Good. Okay, so would have you been able to solve it completely, or you guys are stuck in between? If you are stuck, you can let me know which part you are stuck in, and I'll try and answer that. I can give you a hint as to how to solve this, because just giving the solution directly also is not great. Maybe you guys can tell me now what is your approach, and I'll try and guide you. Of course, I will discuss the complete solution, but before that, I want to guide you guys whether you are taking the right approach or not. Okay, so I'll just discuss the solution now. So this is the program. Okay. So what I'm doing here is, first I've created an input string of size 100. Okay. So this is to store the input sequence that I'll be entering. Okay. Gunjan is saying she has created a character array as an input, and then she has created a function to convert. Okay, that is good. That is the correct approach. What about the others? Okay. Okay, fine. Uh, okay, Ajit has shared his code itself. Okay. Yeah, Ajit, you're right. Your approach is correct. Good. Okay. So, one thing about your code, Ajit, it's perfect, but you might not necessarily always remember how much to add and how much to subtract. So, can we make, if we like the professor said in the class, if we know the functions, if we know some basic properties of the ASCII table, can we use that to our advantage without remembering what are the specific values in the ASCII table? So we know that the capital letters come after the small letters, right? We can use that in our to our advantage. So let me just show you guys what I've done. So I have an input string here, a character array of size 100, and then I have another character variable called input. This will store the current input being entered by the user. Then I have a count variable to show the number of characters input by the user. So here I am just for the benefit of the user, I am just printing enter a sentence, terminate the sentence by clicking enter. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is input is equal to get car. So I'm taking the first input. Can somebody tell me why I am taking the first input here and not inside the while loop? Can somebody tell this? Why I'm taking the first input here and not inside the loop? I'm waiting for somebody to respond. It will print many time in the loop. Okay, so see, somebody has told, Ajit has told it will print many time in loop. Okay, so I'll tell you what why I'm doing that here. See, in my condition in the while loop itself is that input is not is equal to backslash n, which means enter. Okay, backslash n is the escape sequence for enter or the character for enter, and count is less than or equal to 100. So this first, if you see here this part, if there I need to have something to compare it with, right? So my first input that I take, uh, it needs to be compared. If I put this inside, then there's nothing to compare this. There's nothing to satisfy this particular comparison in the first iteration, right? That is why I first take one of the inputs outside the while loop, then I compare whether it is equal to enter, or if I check whether the count is less than or equal to 100. Okay, then I assign the input to the first. So let me. It's better that I dry run and show you guys this. So let me just copy and paste this here. Okay. Let me copy this and paste it here. Now let's go through this line by line. So let us say the user is entering an input, my name, okay, then dot, and then backslash n. Backslash n means enter. The user has entered the uh, has pressed enter. Okay, so this is the input. Now for my first iteration, input is equal to m, right? So input even before the loop, input is equal to m. Now I check at iteration 0. For iteration 0, while input not is equal to backslash n. So is my input is it equal to backslash m? And no, it is m. And count. So initially I have assigned count to 0. Okay. So is it count less than or equal to 100? No. So I can continue with my loop. So count is less than or equal to 100, that is true, and input is not equal to backslash n. So this becomes true, and then I go inside the loop. Now input string, so count is 0. So input string of 0 is equal to m. Okay. Now I go to iteration 2. Now I take the next character input. Okay. So now my input is equal to get char. Get char, the next variable is y, right? Now I check in iteration 1, sorry. In iteration 1 of the loop, I check is input not equal to backslash n. So my input is y, right? Y is not equal to backslash n. So this is true. And count is less than or equal to 100. So my count I have increased here. The count is equal to 1. So count 1 is less than or equal to 100. So both these conditions are satisfied. So then it goes into the while loop. Now I assign input string of 1, count is 1, right, to y. Okay, then count is equal to 2, and then I take the read the next character, which is a space. Okay, so this is how I'm inputting my array. I'm sorry, this is how I'm inputting my sentence and storing it in a character array. So I hope this you understand what is happening. Finally, in the last iteration, I get backslash n, I press enter. So then input is input not equal to backslash n. This is false. So then it doesn't go inside the loop. It doesn't take any further inputs, and it comes out of the while loop, right? So this is how it works. Okay. So yeah, some of you have responded, Preeti and Nilima. So I hope now my explanation satisfies the question that I asked. So I'll go to the next uh, part of the code. Now for int I is equal to 0, I is less than count, I plus plus. Int convert is equal to a minus big A minus small a. Can somebody tell me what is going on here? What is this? What value will this give? Sir, Jatin is saying, I don't understand input string. What is that? Input is a character variable, Jatin. Input is a character variable. Okay. Akansha Gupta has responded. So Akansha is saying ASCII value of character A. Okay. And ASCII value of, okay. So let me just go. So what is the ASCII value of character A? Let me just open the table and then maybe it will be clear. So if you can see here, I don't know what has happened. Yeah. So if you can see here, so this is the ASCII code chart. We know that each character has an ASCII code, right? So actually, the character variables that we enter are represented by have an ASCII code. Okay, and that ASCII code is actually an integer value. So here we can see that uh, so A, right, 4A 41. So 41 is the hexadecimal value. At 41 is the hexadecimal value, and 41 actually means 65, right? We know that A to Z ranges from 65 to minus 90. Sorry, 65 to 90. And we know small a to small z ranges from 97 to 122. So these are the ASCII codes. Now what I'm doing is I'm subtracting in this code. I'm subtracting this value. Okay. So the ASCII value of A is actually int 65, right? And the ASCII value of this is int 97. So I'm getting the value 95 minus 65 minus 97. 1 second. 65 minus 97. So this is my offset that I'll have to add or subtract uh, to get uh, to get my to convert my character from uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase. Okay. So in this case, see, 97 minus 65 is 32, right? So now I check if the input string is greater than or equal to A, and it is less than or equal to Z, right? Then what I'm doing is I have to convert it. So I'm checking if the input string is between, has the ASCII value between this range of small letters. If it does, then I'm converting it to uh, uppercase. Okay. So how am I doing that? So input string of I plus convert. So we know what is convert. Convert here is minus 32, right? So if you see this, let's say I entered a value A. So the value A will have 61 hexadecimal, right? Which is actually 97. So I want to go minus 32. If I do minus 32, its ASCII code will become 41, right? 41, which is actually 65. Similarly, let's say I have an ASCII value of D. Okay, let's say I have an ASCII value 64. Okay, 64 is 64 in hexadecimal. So I subtract 32 from that, then I will reach this D value. Okay, that is how I'm converting. Similarly, if I want to convert from uppercase, then I have to add 32 to reach the lowercase ASCII value. So essentially here, whatever I'm doing is adding and subtracting. I'm manipulating the ASCII value. So after I manipulate the ASCII value, that particular ASCII value will represent uh, the new ASCII value will represent either an uppercase or converted lowercase. So for example, here, since it is a lowercase, I have to subtract minus 32. So plus minus 32 I'm doing here. Okay. So to avoid some confusion, let me just change this. Let me make this A and A, and let me subtract this here minus and make this plus here. Okay. So I have the offset. I know the offset is 32, and to convert from lowercase any lowercase to uppercase, I need to subtract 32 to the ASCII value. Similarly, if I want to convert from uppercase to lowercase, I need to add 32. So that is what I'm doing here. And then finally I'm printing the output. So let me see if there are any doubts. Okay, Manoj has also posted a solution. Okay, so if you, I hope you were able to understand this particular solution. Uh, if you're not able to understand this, kindly let me know. I'll explain. You can tell me which line, from which line to which line you did not understand, and I will try and address your question. Okay. Sarfaraz Sheikh is telling clear, sir. Okay. Okay, so in that case, in this case, since nobody is asking any further doubts, I'll go on to the next question. Also, if you guys have any doubts related to week four's content, kindly ask me now. I'll try and address your doubts. So, if you have any issues with pointers, how to use pointers, etc., you can ask me, and I'll try and resolve it. Okay, so I'll go to the next question. Write a program in C to accept a word as an input from the user. The program should check whether this word is a palindrome. So can somebody tell me what is a palindrome? Do you guys understand what is a palindrome? Okay, Manoj is responding, same from both sides. Yes. So if I have, let's say, I enter a word ABA. If I enter a word ABA, then that is a palindrome because from both sides it is the same. For example, here Nitin, N-I-T-I-N. If I read it backwards, it is the same, Nitin. Okay, so your what you have to do is you have to accept an input from the user, and you have to check whether that word is a palindrome. Okay. Yes, Ajit has told MAM. Yeah, Ishan has told Madam. Somebody has told Malayalam. Okay, yeah, you guys are correct. These are examples of a palindrome. So if you read it from the backwards, it should be the same. Okay. So Jaisuri is asking, sir, I am Tamil medium. C concepts is I know, sir, but how I solve a problem? Tips give, sir. So Jaisuri, what you need to do is you need to go through the code line by line, and you have to dry run your logic. So like how I did here, right? In this particular case, I was going through loop by loop and I was checking what is the status of each variable. So if my logic does not work here, if my logic is wrong, I can catch that the flaw in my logic using this method. So this method is called dry running a program. So you note down for each iteration, you update all the values in the variables, and you check whether the programming is doing what you want it to do. Okay. So again, you guys can take 10 minutes. So it's 48. We'll meet at 7, okay, to discuss this particular problem. So Jaisuri is telling, yeah, Akansha is telling reverse the string and check if it's equal to the inputted string or not. Yes, that is one. That is the way to solve it, Akansha. You're right. That's the correct approach. Very good. So you guys can go ahead and try and solve this, and then I'll discuss the solution. Okay, Jaisuri is telling how I improve my logic, sir. So Jaisuri, what you can do is you can start off by solving very simple problems. Okay, and once you start solving simple problems, you see what is. You go step by step. Don't take complicated problems. You start off with solving very simple problems. Run the code. You have to run the code. Don't do it on paper. You run the code. Actually, write the program and run the code, and then if your code is not working, you try and see remove your pen and paper and try and see how you dry run the program and try and see what is the flaw in your logic. So you start off from very basic questions, and then you go on to more complicated problems. Okay, so we'll meet at 7. Till then, you guys can try and run this program on C. Yes, Gunjan is telling pseudo codes can help to improve logics. Yes, Gunjan. So, Jasurya, we have a very good suggestion from Gunjan. She's telling pseudo codes can help to improve logic. That is correct. So, you can also write a pseudo code. It need not be. So, pseudo code is basically an outline of your logic, of the logic of how you want to solve the program, and then you can implement that pseudo code. Okay. Yeah. So if anybody else also has any tips for Jasurya, you can type it in the chat box. So yeah, the motto of this is to help each other. So I like the fact that Gunjan has also pitched in with a suggestion. So if anybody else has any other suggestions, you can give Jasurya some more suggestions. Okay, then we'll meet at 7 to discuss the problem. Yes, Nilima has said reverse the string and compare it. Yes, that is the correct approach, Nilima. Okay, Manoj has also given some suggestions for Jasurya. There will be some quizzes on the web. You can go through it. Yes, that's right. There are many sample programs, uh, like Manoj has mentioned. There are many sample programs that you can get on the web. So just Google sample C programs. Let's say you want to, you know, you want to strengthen your concepts in arrays, then just type sample C programs for arrays. Then you'll get so many links, and you can just take a few and solve the problems, and they will also provide you the solution. So you can do that. That's a very good suggestion from Manoj. Yes. So Akansha is giving some motivation to Desurya. She's saying, bro, just start programming. Even if you are confused with the logic, at the end of the day, you will end up building a nice program. Just do it. Yes, that's the spirit, Akansha. Yeah, that's correct. That's the way to go about learning programming. That's the correct approach. So your attitude is the attitude is the most important thing. You should have the correct attitude. And yeah, Gunjan has shared a solution. Yes, Manoj is also saying first try to do it on your own and then search. You may get more logics. Yes, that is also very important because you should first you should not look at the solution straight away. You try it yourself, and then you see if you are able to get the solution by yourself. Then if you're not, then you look for the solution. But you should first attempt it on your own. That is correct. That is how you build your logic. Initially, it will be very tough, but over time, with practice, you will get the hang of it. . Nilima is asking, can we use string functions? Uh, yeah, sure. Why not, Nilima? You can go ahead and use. As long as you are getting the solution, whatever logic you use, whatever approach you use, there are multiple ways to solve this. So one of our friends has posted a solution, Gunjan Sharma. So what she's doing is she has created a flag variable, okay, and she's just checking. Okay, yeah, this is the very good approach. So what she's doing is she's okay. We'll discuss this. Let the others also attempt. Then we will discuss this solution. So we'll meet at 7 or maybe a little more time, 7 2, and then we'll discuss this. Okay, guys. Uh, so let us go and see what some of you have posted. Nirima Jain, reverse testing and compare it. Okay. Okay, Gunjan Sharma has given a solution. So what she is doing is comparing the first letter with the last letter and then going in the reverse order. Okay. And then if it is not equal, then flag is equal to 1. Okay. and then she's breaking out of the for loop. Now she's checking if flag, that means if flag is 1, it is not a palindrome, else it is a palindrome. So yeah, that's the correct approach, Gunjan. You have written a very concise code. This is very good. Can we use string function? Yeah, Nilima, you can use, but actually, in this particular case, so somebody Asif has given a solution. So I have not yet encountered string functions. So I don't know what kind of functions we can use with strings. So I think somebody has posted the solution using string functions in 3 lines. Reverse string one and string. Okay. So in 3 lines itself, Asif has done the job. But in this particular case, we want to understand the usage of arrays, right? So we want to understand the usage of arrays and how to manipulate them. So an approach that is employed by Gunjan would be the correct way to solve it. Of course, I have not yet encountered string functions. So like you guys, even I am going through the course week by week. I'm also new to C programming, but in general, I know programming, but not C. So I'm also learning. So right now, I'm in week 4 only, arrays and pointers. So if you see after this week 5, I have not even seen the videos. Okay. So Jesuri is asking, so I'm not aware of these functions. So I cannot verify whether this is the correct solution. Jesuri is saying, is exam objective type, sir? So, Jesuri, I'm not sure about this. Maybe you can ask in the forum. And I think they have sent some email regarding the exam. So, I'm not sure what is the format of the exam, as I'm not involved with that. So, Nilima Jain is giving a solution. Okay, so she has done it using string functions. So, this seems correct. This is also the correct approach. Shikha is also posting. So you guys are doing a really good job. To see the enthusiastic response. Okay. Yeah, essentially, yeah, this should work. Yeah, you guys are correct. Glad to see this. Okay, so anyways, my solution is a slightly more complicated. So some of you have posted a straightforward solution, but I'll also discuss the novice version of this. Uh, so let me go and share my screen. Okay, so here what I'm doing is first I'm creating an input variable called input array called input string to store the input. Then I am creating a character variable called input to store the current character that has been input by the user. Okay. Now I am storing a variable called count to store the number of characters input by the user. So this will keep track of the. This is similar to what I did last time. Then I'm checking. So this part is pretty straightforward. This is similar to what I did in the last program. So here's the tricky part. Okay, I want my uh, I want the word that I'm comparing to be invariant to character variables. Okay, invariant to uppercase and lowercase. So immediately when I input the string, what I'm doing is I'm checking whether it is in the uppercase, whether it is a capital letter. If it is a capital letter, I'm converting it into a small into lowercase using this. So you guys already know the logic, right? I've already explained it. So this is the offset, right? A minus A. So the ASCII value of A is 65, right? Capital A, and the ASCII value of big A is 97. So I'm getting the value minus 32. Now I'm adding minus of minus 32. Okay, let me not complicate this. So you guys already know this, right? So this is I'm going to get a value of minus 32 here, and now uh, I need to add this value, right? Because if you see the range of A, capital letters is from 65, okay, and the range of small letters starts from 97. So I need to add this value, okay. So to remove any confusion, let me just do this and I add. So I add a value of 32. If it's a uppercase letter, I add a value of 32 and convert it into lower case. Now I store this in the input string. Okay. Now create a new variable called new array called reverse string. Okay, to store the reverse of the input string. So for I now what I do is I reverse this string for int I is equal to 0, I is less than count I plus plus. So reverse string count minus 1 minus I is equal to input string I. So let me just show you guys what this does. Windows Shift S. Let me just take a screenshot of this and I'll explain how I am reversing the string. Let us say I input a value, a word Nitin, okay, and this is stored in an array called input string, okay. Let me just erase this. So the array input string stores this. Okay, so at index 0, at index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Now what I'm doing is I'm reversing this. I want to reverse this. So while inputting itself, what I did was, what did I do? I converted this to lowercase, right? So while inputting itself, I converted it to lowercase. So let me just write it in lowercase. Now what I'm doing is I have to reverse this string. So I'm doing this. So for int I is equal to 0, let us check iteration 1, iteration 0. Okay. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than count, I plus plus. So reverse string of what is count here? Count is the number of characters in input string, right? The number of elements in input string. So we have 5 elements. So 5 minus 1 minus I is 0. Okay. Is equal to input string of 0. So what I am doing here is uh, reverse string at location 4. Reverse string of 4 is equal to input string of 0. Input string of 0 is n, right? So I'm storing at this particular location n. Similarly, in iteration 2, iteration 1, sorry, again I'm doing this. So now my I was initially 0, right? In I was initially 0, now I is 1. So reverse string 5 minus 1, okay, minus I. What is I here? I is 1 is equal to input string of 0, input string of 1. So this will be 5 minus, so this will be 3 is equal to input string of 1 is I, right? So in this manner, at these locations 3, 2, 1, I reverse the string. I start storing the string from the reverse order. So finally in my reverse string also I will have Nitin. Okay. Now the next step is to compare. Now that I've reversed the string, I will iterate through this. So I will check each and every element. I will check. I will compare. If it is not equal, I will have a flag. Is palindrome? I will make it 0. Okay. Now what I'll do here if is palindrome is equal to 1, that means the input was a palindrome. Else input word is not a palindrome. That is what I'm doing here. So if anybody has any doubts, you can ask me now. I can explain. If any particular line of code you did not understand, I can explain that again. So let me know. Let me check the chat box. Okay, nobody is asking any doubts. Okay, okay, guys. Then if nobody has any doubts, we'll go on to the next part. The next question. Uh, this is the next question. Write a program in C to input a sentence and a character. The program should check for the number of occurrences of that character in the sentence and print out the location of those occurrences. Okay, so I'll guess 10 minutes to solve this. So it's 7:13. We'll meet at 7:25. Gunjan is asking some counting sort concept. I didn't understand what is the question, Gunjan. Could you elaborate? Yes, so Akansha has shared a part of the logic. Using for loop, check each character of the string. If it is equal to that inputted string or not. If yes, then increase the counter by 1. If yes, increase the counter 1, else continue to the next iteration. Print the final value of the counter. Yes, this is part of the solution. Akansha, good. Also, you need to print the locations where the character is found. That also needs to be done. Okay, so you guys try and solve this. We'll meet in 10 minutes. So Gunjan is saying in DSA there is a type of sorts. Counting sort is one of them. We can use that concept in the question. You don't need to sort here, Gunjan. I think. Oh, you just need to, like Akansha said, iterate through the input string, and then you are going to take two strings, right, as input. You are going to take two things as input. One is a sentence, and the second thing is a character. Now, what you have to do is you have to check how many times this character is there in that string. So you just iterate through the entire character array. That is my in this case, my name is Anurag will be stored in an array. So you just iterate through it and you keep checking wherever there is a. You check if a is there, then you increment a counter, and you also store the location of that in another array, and then you can uh, put the output finally. Okay, so let us discuss this. Asif Siddiq has posted a solution. Okay. Yeah. So as if you have yeah, that you one part of the solution is correct. One part of the solution is correct. Okay. Okay, so let us discuss this. So how many of you were able to solve this? Were you able to also print out the location of each of the where these character where the character is occurring in the input string? So the first part is more or less straightforward. The second part might involve a little bit of complexity. Do you guys need more time, or should I go ahead and discuss the solution? Kindly let me know in the chat box. Okay, Gunjan is telling solution. Please go ahead. Akansha is also saying, please go ahead with the solution. Good. Okay. Okay, guys. So let us discuss the solution. Let me just open. Okay. So yeah, the concept is, I think, the first part of the program most of you would have understood. So essentially, it's again the same. First, I'm inputting till this point is the same as before. I'm inputting a sentence until the user enters the enter key, or the array size has been filled. Okay, that is why this is here. Okay, now what I have to do is I ask the user to enter one more input, and this character will be compared with uh, this character. I will check how many times it is occurring in the string. Okay, and then I've also created one variable called occurrence count. So this will keep a count of the number of times the character is occurring. So check occurrences, right? So this particular variable will store the character that I want to check how many times it is occurring in the input array, or the input string that is input by the user itself. And this occurrence count variable will store the number of times uh, will store the number of times I find the uh, character in the input string. Okay, and then I'm also creating one more variable called int occurrence location. So this particular array will store the location of where those strings have been found, where those characters have been found in the input string. Okay, so let me just run the code first, and for the to so that you understand that the code is working. So let me just type I love C programming. Now enter a character whose number of occurrences you want to find in the sentence just entered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a space bar. Okay. Then the number of occurrences of the character space in the string I love C programming are 3. So if you see here, 1, 2 and 3, right? There are 3 occurrences of the space. The location of these occurrences are 2, 7 and 9. So let us check that. 1, 2. Yes, at 2 we have a space. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, 7 also we have a space. 8, 9. At 9 also we have a space. So this is correct. Now let us look at the solution. So here what I am doing is, let me Windows Shift S, take a screenshot of this and then dry run this code. Okay, let me put this new slide blank. Okay, so this is my input string and this is my the character that I want to check. So let it be a space character. Okay, space character, an empty space. Now I'm iterating through the entire input string character array. Then what I'm doing is I'm checking whether I'm able to find that character. If since I'm able to find that character, what I'm doing is I'm storing the location. So the location is, see, I know the index, right? The index of the current uh, character that I'm comparing in the input string. So that is how I'm accessing. I know the index and the index is index plus 1, right? The location is I plus 1 because in we know that in C programming the location starts from 0 for the array, right? So that is why we are starting from 0, but the actual physical location will be I plus 1, right? Because it starts from 0, I need to add one value and then I'm incrementing the count. So let us say I have an input I space love C. Okay, this is my user input and I enter backslash n. So this is my input string. Let me just put this properly. Input string I love love, then a space and C. Okay, this is my input string. Now what I'm going to do is in my first iteration, so this is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now first I will access this. Okay, input string of 0. I check, is it equal to space? No, it is not equal to space, so I go to the next loop. Now I is equal to 1. When I is equal to 1, I check, is is this is equal to space? Yes, it is equal to space. So what I do, in my array occurrence location, okay, what is my occurrence count? My occurrence count is 0, right? So occurrence location of 0. So my first variable uh, in this particular array will be I plus 1. What is I? I is 1, right? 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we know first, second element. The second element is the space. Similarly, when I go here, my I will be 6, right? When I come here, my I will be 6. Okay. And what will be my occurrence location? Occurrence location, see, I incremented my count, right? So my occurrence count was 1. So occurrence location of 1. Occurrence location of 1 is equal to 6 plus 1, which is I plus 1, is equal to 7. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh character is a space. So that is how this code works. So this is the basic understanding of this code. Okay, Akansha, sir, why don't we simply write a printf statement inside the if block and print I plus 1? Yes, that is also correct, Akansha. That is also another way to do it. That is a simpler way to do it. But I wanted the output to look slightly neater. I wanted it to look like this. So first I want the output to be like this. So first I want to tell, okay, it occurs so many times. After it occurs so many times, I want to tell what are the locations. In that case, I need to store the locations in an array. That is why I stored it in the array. I hope that clarifies your question. But yeah, you are also right. You can just store it. You can just print it in. Yeah, Akansha sharing got it, sir. Yeah. Okay. But your method is also correct. You can just directly print it in the loop itself. That is also correct. Anybody can help me find sample papers and last year's papers. Okay, that I don't know about that, Gunjan. Uh, okay, so in that case, let's go on to the next question, which is the final question for the day. So this involves pointers. So if you understood pointers and the size of operator, you will be able to answer this. Write a program in C to iterate through. This might look like a very simple problem, but it's not very straightforward. Write a program in C to iterate through the elements of an integer array using a character pointer and print all the elements of the integer array onto the console. Note, no using ARR of I to access the elements of the array. Okay, so you just create an array, an integer array, and what you have to do is you have to use a character pointer. Remember, you have to not use an integer pointer, you have to use a character pointer. Okay, use a character pointer and iterate through the elements of the integer array. So if you guys have any doubts regarding the question, if you have doubts regarding understanding of the question itself, you can ask me now, and I will try and address that. So that if you should not have doubts in the question itself. Otherwise, you'll solve a question that I'm not asking the solution for. Jasurya, how I understand pointers, sir, and when it clear I understand. So Jasurya, you should go through the lecture week 4 lectures, where the professor has explained pointers, and go through it and again and try and understand it. Yes, that is the trick here, Asif. It's not straightforward. You can use a character pointer, but you have to see how to use it. It's not very straightforward. So if you guys remember arithmetic of pointers, uh, the the solution, you'll have to use size of operator to solve this. Try and do it. Let's see. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes. It's 38. Let's meet in 5 minutes maybe. At 45, 7:45, let's meet and we'll try and answer this. Jasurya is asking what is register variables. I'm not sure, Jasurya. Uh, So when you're working with microcontrollers, you have registers. But in what context are you asking this? I'm not able to understand. In microcontrollers, we have registers and we store values in the registers. So if anybody has programmed uh, any microcontroller, especially at the assembly language level, uh, they will encounter this. So whatever you are storing is actually in registers. So there you directly store into the registers. Akansha, Akansha has posted a solution. Not sure if the logic is correct or not. Okay, okay. So you are pointing to the array, that is correct. Less than size of array. Okay, I plus plus. So I appreciate your attempt, Akansha. You're in the right direction. You're in the right direction. The solution is not completely correct, but your approach is correct. So we'll discuss this. Don't worry. So this is the last question for the day, friends. Uh, Once I discuss this, we'll wrap it up. I had only four problems to discuss this week, but yeah, pointers is pretty tricky concept. It's not that straightforward. So you might also need to refer some other resources, see some explanations online as well on YouTube. So we have a wealth of resources on YouTube as well. So if you didn't understand any particular concept, you can also refer to YouTube. But yeah, our professor has explained it in a very nice way. Okay, somebody has Shikha Mahata int. Okay, you have created an array, then printf enter elements. Okay, you are inputting the values. Okay, that is correct. Yeah, so the way you are inputting it is correct. Then what you're doing is you are printing it onto the console using that. Okay, yeah, that is also not wrong. I don't know. I've not run the code. Were you able to run the code and check, Shikha? Does it work? So your approach again, Shikha's approach is also correct. But in my question, I'm asking you guys to use a character pointer. So the trick here is I want you to introduce the how these pointers work. That is why I have purposely told use a character pointer to iterate through all the elements of the array and print it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and discuss it. Shall I discuss it or do you guys need some more time? Let me know in the chat box. Shall I discuss the solution or shall I give you guys some more time? Okay, Akansha is saying, sir, kindly go ahead. Okay. Okay, so I'll discuss the solution. Okay, Ajit is also saying discuss. Okay. Okay, guys. So let me open it. Open project solution. Okay, some of you have tried and answered. Asif also has posted his solution. Uh, Anyways, I'll go ahead and first discuss my solution. So I hope my screen is visible to you guys. So what I'm doing here is, let me just enlarge this. Okay, what I'm doing here is, first I'm creating an array, integer array. Okay, then I'm calculating the size of the array. So how do I calculate the size of the array? How do I calculate the number of elements in the array? So that I do using this. So size of array will give me the total bytes in this particular array, right? So the number of elements in this array are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 into 4. So one integer uh, value occupies 4 bytes of data, right? So 4 bytes into the number of elements in the array, 4 into 5, right? That means that will give me 20. So this value will give me 20 divided by size of, now I want only the number of elements, right? Since I want the number of elements only, let me go here. So size of array, let me just, size of array in this particular case will give me the number of elements into the size of each element, right? So if I divide this by the size of each element, then what I'll get is the number of elements, right? So that is what I'm doing here. So size of array is number of elements into the size of each element, and I divide this by, so size of array of 0, this will give me the size occupied by an integer variable, right? So if I do this, I'll get the total number of elements. Okay, now what I'm doing is, okay, Neeraj also has posted a solution. Okay, anyways, I'll go ahead and try and solve this. So now I get the size of the number of elements in this array, which is 5. Now what I do is, I create a character pointer and I point it to the starting location of the array, right? So we know that ARR, the name of the array, indicates the, what does this indicate? It indicates the location of ARR of 0, right? So ARR of 0 is, the address of ARR of 0 is stored in the array pointer, right? Then what I'm going to do is, I'm printing the total number of elements, then int current element, okay, I'm creating a loop in that int I is equal to 0, I is less than array count. Array count is the number of elements, I plus plus. Then what I do is, I create a integer variable int current element. Now what I do is, current element is equal to the value of the element pointed by the this particular character pointer, right? So let me just, okay, so review, start thinking. Okay, now uh, my array, let's say my array has these values 2, 3, 4. Let's say my array has these values. What were my values? 199, 29, 56, 84. 199, 29, 56, 84. 56, 84. Okay, and location is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is, current element is equal to, so the array pointer actually stores the address of this particular location, right? When I do this, current element is equal to star array pointer, whatever is the address in this, whatever is the address that this array pointer is pointing to, the value within this address is transferred to current element. That is what this line is doing. Okay, so this array pointer is pointing to this particular variable, and doing this, this is called dereferencing a pointer. Star array pointer will give me the value that is in the location which is stored in this array pointer. Okay, I hope that is clear. If you want, I can repeat this. Uh, so that is being stored here. Now I'm printing that. Then array equals array pointer plus size of int. So what you have to realize is, if this was an integer pointer, so let's say this current location is 10, right? The next, we know that the size of an integer is 4, right? 4 bytes. So 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so let us say this is the address. So 10, 11, 12, 13 will store this particular value only, right? It will store this particular value only. Then the next array variable will start from 14, 15, 16 and 17, right? But we know that the character pointer, since it's a character pointer, if I do plus 1, it will increment by 1 only. The address in this value will increment by 1. But if it was an integer pointer, if I do plus 1, automatically it will increment by 4, right? But since this is a character pointer, not an integer pointer, what I have to do is I have to increment by 4. So what is size of int? Size of int will return 4. So array pointer plus 4. So when I do array pointer plus 4, it will point to this location, this address. And this address stores this particular variable. Okay. That is the logic here. So let me do one thing. Okay. Let me change this to integer. If I change it to integer pointer, I don't need to do all this. I just need to do plus 1. Okay, now let me run this code. See, it is working perfectly. But let me change this to character pointer. Let me save it. Let me run this code. You see what I'm getting? 100099. This is not correct, right? Because when I'm incrementing by 1, since it's a character pointer, it will increment by only 1. Okay. In the previous case, when it was an integer pointer, when I did plus 1, automatically it incremented by 4 bytes. The address, so this is storing an address, right? It automatically incremented by 4 plus 4. So since now it's a character pointer, I need to account for this. So I do int. Size of int is 4, right? So it increments by 4. That is the logic. So now if I run this, it will work perfectly. See, I'm getting the output. So I hope this is clear. It's a slightly complicated thing, but it clears certain concepts. What is the difference between a character pointer and an integer pointer? That is the concept that I was trying to clear here. Okay. So yeah, I'm done with the class now. So see you guys next week, and thank you for joining in for this class. Thank you, Asif. Thank you, Akansha. Thank you, everybody else. And see you guys next week. Goodbye. Thank you, Shikha. Thank you, Jatin. Thank you, Ishan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amir, Jaysurya. See you guys. Bye.